Welcome to the Trade Lounge. Today was a no trade day on my journey to 100K, where I try to take this small account to $100,000 as a rookie day trader. And as you're going to see here in just a couple seconds, I am a rookie. I have made some very, very damaging mistakes in the month of June. It has not been a good month for me. I think this might be my worst month so far. February is a close second, if not tied. I have to go back and take a look at the data, but we're definitely not looking good for the month of June. And it's a few things stacking on top of each other, which I'm going to show you here. But ultimately, this morning was a result of losing yesterday off of a mental error. And this is what happens to me after a day like that, is I get a little timid. We call it Timid Timmy. Timid Timmy came out to play. I was up to the bat. I was in the batter's box. I just didn't take any swings. And you got to take swings and be ready to exit if things don't go your way. And I just didn't do that today. And there was a couple stocks. We'll go over the stocks that came across my scanner today that I was interested in, but ultimately did not trade because I was a little timid, and Fridays are a little slower, and I just wanted to make sure I was looking for a specific setup that kind of goes off my typical rules versus kind of what I've been doing, which is a little bit of everything. And so anyway, it's been a crazy month. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired, and I'm looking forward to Monday as a new beginning for me to kind of start working through some stuff. So at the start of today, should I pull up the scanners real quick? Let's do this real quick. So no trade day today, using Lightspeed as my broker right here. Where are you? There we go. And this is what the account looks like right now. Now, if this is your first time here, this probably doesn't look too bad, right? We started with $4,200 in the account. Actually, we started with $1,000. I doubled it pretty quickly in December. Thought I knew what I was doing, beginner's luck. Added some more money in, proceeded to lose some of that some of my gains, and I've been just crawling out of this hole since February, learning and growing and kind of slowing it down, and kind of a few like weird things, And then the market got a little hotter, I got a little bit more aggressive, and then I've made some pretty big mistakes. So right now I am green. I started in December. It is now June. I'm happy to say I am profitable, and if I can make it to December of this year and still be profitable, I would be pretty happy, because most traders aren't profitable in their first year, who especially with this Ross Cameron warrior trader kind of style. So I'm just trying to make this work. So this is at $430 is the amount that we've made on the account. This is after fees, after everything. This is net profits. Well, it's not entirely accurate. It doesn't have my scanner software in it. I think that's the only thing that's not in here. I just pay for that out of pocket. It's fine. It needs to be. Look, if you're new to trading, understand there are costs of doing this business, and you have some choices. You can go with a free broker, which is what I did to begin with, and I just now went to a commission broker and paying a little bit of a price for that as I learn and grow. You can go free scanners on YouTube. Feel free to do that. You don't have to pay for a scanner. You don't have to pay for a broker. And you don't have to pay for like Dash Trader. I mean, you can pretty much do this completely free and do a pretty good job at day trading. I'm just letting you know right now. You don't have to go the route that I took. So this is how much money I brought in minus fees. I actually really prefer to show this as a gross P&L, but with the way fees work in Lightspeed, I started feeling a little like I was lying. So now this is showing with the fee, after the fees. So net P&L. So basically the P&L minus the fees for Lightspeed. So the account's up $430. It has been up almost $2K. Actually, just a little over a week ago. So I have lost. It wasn't at $2K. It was the most this has been is $1,800. And I have lost a lot of money in the last couple of weeks. Now I turned on the fee thing too, so that's added in there too. So it's basically, you'll see here in a second, but it's not good. And so knowing this, going into this morning, I'm like, I only want my A+ setups, right? So what are my A+ setups, right? I want something that's low float. Anything under 50 million, certainly under 25 million, under 5 million, absolutely. That's I would love that. I want breaking news, some kind of catalyst. I want to have news. And I needs to have high volume. Yesterday, I traded a stock that didn't have really good volume, and I paid the price for it. And I need to get in I want a candle over candle high entry after a micro pullback. And preferably the first like little leg up. Within the first few legs up, certainly in that first leg up. And you'll see that today if you don't know what I mean. And I also really needed to make sure to understand my risk. So I wanted to make sure that if I got in, I got out right away. In my mind, I'm thinking 5 to 10 cents of risk, meaning what I'm willing to lose on any entry that I make. But really what I'm trying to do is exit right away. If the stock shows any sign of weakness or I enter it and it just, as soon as I enter, the price drops down, I just get out because you can always re-enter. And that's been the mistake. That's been the thing I've been dealing with for the month of June. So I kind of needed all those things, and I didn't feel comfortable today. And actually, I said I wasn't going to reduce my size because it's already reduced. Like I'm used to going in with $2,000, $3,000 blocks at a time and not really caring about share size. If I buy, if I'm going in with 3K and I'm going in at $10 a share, that's 300 shares. And then, if I go in at $1 share, that's 3,000 shares. I never really thought about it in shares. Now I'm kind of thinking about it in shares, just kind of trying this new thing. And so I actually was going to reduce my size today. I put an option here for 100 shares. I've taken some recommendations from YouTube and my mentors, and the option is there for me to do it if I feel the need to do it. And I had my finger over that button a couple times. I just never pressed it. So I was prepared to reduce size a little bit. I just didn't actually make a trade. All that to say, no trade day, and we will go over those trades. But I've been taking a look at a couple things here. Today is a day of reflection, and I'm looking at. This is so hard for me to look at because this is the lowest this account has been since basically the first 2 weeks I started the challenge. Well, not 2 weeks, but the first few weeks of starting the challenge. This is back in December. This is the lowest this account has been, and it's quite alarming to me. And let's look at the calendar real quick. So in the month of June, I don't have all the data in here. My buddy Damien created this for me, and it works really great. It doesn't have all of my. I'm only starting it since the month of June. So that's just kind of how I'm going to do it because there's so much. It's just not going to work for me to do it that way. I've switched brokers so many times that the data's mucked up, and I used to do a lot of testing on these accounts, and so little one trades here, one trades there. It's just going to muck it all up. So. Now we're looking at the nuts and bolts of this thing. So if you're new here, I'm gonna quit saying if you're new here. So on Thursday, the 4th, I got access to Lightspeed, this platform, which is my first time on a commission-free broker, but I also was the first time having access to lightning speed entries. The execution on Lightspeed is extremely fast, way faster than Dash Trader with CS and Webull, which is the two other brokers that I've used. It's lightning fast. It's why there's Lightspeed. It's unbelievable how fast it is. So that first day, I'm just going to kind of run careless. That was a very big mistake. I ran too careless because my fees for the entire month of June, this day, is responsible for a quarter of it. And that's not fun. By the way, this number includes the fees on the calendar. So $300 loss day, which included the fees. And I made 60 trades that day. Overtraded the heck out of this thing. And then on this day right here, where I'm green $65, that is also responsible for another 25% of my fees for the entire month of June. Because I overtraded. And I'm green on that day, so it kind of when you look at it that way, it's still positive on that day, but overall, it certainly does. There's a lot of fees. And then we have this day and this day last week, which was really, really rough. This $819 day, it was only 12. So this day, and this day, these are the most recent 3 losses I've had. The fees are negligible. 12 trades and 6 trades and 3 trades. However, from the damage done from the other days, when you start having these big losing days, it just starts to stack and it hurts a little bit. I've said it a couple times and I do mean it. I don't really care that much about these fees. What I care more about is the mistakes I'm making that is starting to make me feel like the fees are stacking on top of that. And I've got to really work on that. And so on this day right here, I had made like 9 winning trades in a row or something like that, pretty close to, I forget what it was, 7 to 9 trades in a row. I was up almost $200, almost to a brand new max on the account. Went in on a trade. I actually had a chance to take a profit. I did not take the profit, and the stock proceeded to tank, and I did not get out. I had a risk set. I had a stop loss set. I didn't exit. Then I became emotionally compromised. I watched this over 20 minutes and finally got out for like, I don't know what it was, like a $400 loss. And then, failing to realize that I was emotionally compromised, I went back in, made another trade, went down like another $120 or something like that on that trade. And I also had a chance to take a profit on that trade. I've learned a lot through this process. And instead of quitting, I traded that same stock again, made all of that back, that $120 back. I was like, okay, we're break even, but let's try another one. Right? We're going to try to make up for this, try to make some ground here. And then I made another big loss of $100 some, and then I called it quits with an $800 loss and learned some valuable lessons that day. And Friday, not that day, over the course of 2 days, I came back on Thursday and traded again. And a similar issue. Not quite as bad, because I entered in on a stock and I got out with a 30-cent loss on it. But looking at the video, I had an opportunity to take like a $40 profit, or forget what it was. And I didn't take it. So on these 2 days, on these 2 losing trades, in my mind, I was going in for something. It was like, I'm going in for the break of this whole dollar, whatever it was. And I was expecting it to make that move in a really weird way, no matter what. So even when I was profitable in the moment, I'm like, I'm sure I'm profitable, but I need the extra 20. I got greedy, but it wasn't really greed. It was just in my mind, I had visualized the stock to go somewhere. That's a horrible way to go, right? And so this video is kind of going in a different direction, and I hope I don't know what's going to come of this. We'll see what happens when I replay it before I post it to YouTube. But this is kind of where my mind's at this week, man. And then on this day right here, I took this loss yesterday, and this was, this one wasn't too bad right here. On Thursday, it really wasn't that bad. I wasn't that upset about it. Yesterday's was one of those ones where I just stayed in a little too long. Was that right? Is that yesterday? Let me click this. Yesterday was the 25th? 25th. Yeah, yesterday. Look at that. I'm in at 416, out at 350. Just brutal. Absolutely brutal. And yesterday, yeah, so this one here on last Thursday, it was just a trade that I made that didn't work out, and I got out in a decent time. I lost $130, but I felt okay about it. Here, I did not feel okay about this because I got out way later than I should have. And you can look at yesterday's video to see what happened with that. It was just very, very annoying. So today, I'm like, I just want to make sure I make the right plays. That's where we're at right now. This is all that to say this. So this month, I've got a 60% win rate, which really doesn't matter if you're holding stocks into losses or if you're over trading your booty off. These win rates don't mean jack, right? I'm really frustrated because I've got this, it's just one of those things. It's been really, really annoying. But I also had my buddy Damien put together this section in this report for, let's pull this up to June, and I think I can just go like this, and I bet that shows the whole month, but I'm just going to do this anyway. Yeah, so what I was curious about was because on Webull, which I'll pull this up for you guys, on my Webull account, I have 5 different accounts. So I have, and I'll explain why. I have this account, which is very specific to the challenge account, is very specific to the Ross Cameron style. That's why when I'm getting a lot of recommendations to completely change the style of trading, I'm taking those in and I'm actually applying those into other accounts, but I'm not applying them here because this account I'm really trying to learn kind of this Ross Cameron style of trading, mixed in with a little bit of dip trading type stuff, and I'll get into that here today, that I like to do. But for the most part, I want to trade it like the Rosh Kamen Warrior Trader style. That's what I'm trying to do on this challenge account. But I still appreciate the advice because I'm applying it in other areas. I also have an HSA account that I trade in, and I have what they call a broker link over at Fidelity, where you can take a piece of your retirement and move it over and trade that. And then I have 2 Roth accounts, and this is the Roth account on Webull that I have. That is a smaller account that I set up, which allows me to trade penny stocks and other things that I don't want to pay commissions on. And this was actually set up originally when Thinkorswim was not letting me trade certain stocks. So so what's interesting about this is there's about an 80%-ish win rate on this account, and this is only 1 trade a day, all in, all out with $1,000. The balance is higher than that. But I just pick $1,000. I go all in, all out. Similar strategy as what you're seeing on this account with a little bit of flexibility. I made one mistake on this account on the first day of June. I got in on a stock and it went down right away. And I got out as fast as I could, and I took a $226 loss. But since then, we've managed it. I'm trying to do on this account in many ways what I'm trying to do on this challenge account as well, where I'm just getting in and taking a profit and getting out right away. These are getting out right away days. That's a $6 loss. That's a $6 loss. That's a $6 loss. We're just getting out right away if I get in and it doesn't work. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is just 1 trade a day. The winning percentage is high. We've done a pretty good job managing the risk. And so this is doing far, in my opinion, better than my challenge account. And so I had Damien put together this list that tells me my win percentage based on what trade of the day it was, all the way up to trade 10. So on the first trade of the day, I have an 81% win rate. On the second trade of the day, 77%. Third and fourth trade of the day, it starts to go down. Now, here's the thing about data, which I've talked about a few times. It's not clean if the data is not clean if I'm messing up big time. So those trades I made last week where I lost a lot of money, I just know where those trades were at in the sequence. They were trades, 6 and above. And so they're not affected by these right here. I mean, obviously, because the win rate's pretty high in those areas. But the point I'm trying to make is like I'm trying to see if, okay, we've got the trade 1 and trade 2 are 80%-ish, and then we drop substantially on trade 3 and trade 4 down to 54 and 60%, and we bounce back a little bit. This is an odd thing. I must have on the 6th trade of on the days I've taken more than 5 trades, for some reason, that's just such a weird outlier. But it certainly starts moving down, in my opinion, minus this trade 5, the longer I go, right? And so it's just something for me to keep in mind. I'm not saying I'm going to go to 1 trade a day on this account. I want to get better at trading multiple times if it makes sense. But I really need to focus a little bit and have a better understanding of some of this data. I was hoping for this to be a larger disparity. I was hoping trade 1 was like 92%. And then it was like, 77, 54, 44, 32. Like that's kind of what I was, thinking. And then that would justify me going like all in, all out, whatever that means for me. Could be $1,000, could be the whole account amount, all in, all out, and just live with those results and get out quickly. I mean, So anyway, that's just something I'm kind of looking at. Okay, that's enough about the data. Did I pull up charts? Let's see here. I did not pull up charts. Let me pull up charts real quick. Let's pull up some Charts Watchers charts right here. Main charts. Go like this. We'll bring it over. Right there. Looks pretty good. And we should have some charts now. Let's take a click over here and see what happens. Yeah, great. Okay. So the charts I'm using are from Charts Watcher. These are TradingView charts. The scanner I use is Charts Watcher, and the TradingView charts are integrated into that. If you're from Warrior Trader or Day Trade Dash, the scanner is really, really, really good. It's comparable to that, and in many ways, in my opinion, it's actually better because it's fully customizable. Now, what you see on the screen here probably looks like a lot, especially if you came from Day Trade Dash. but I'm not really watching all of these things. There's a couple of bells and whistles that go off every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm watching. This is just your running up scanner to see things climbing up, especially at the top and bottom of the hour. I've got my quotes and my news right here. I added a clock because I like to see that over there. My watch list here, and then this would just be my running now or running up, which is the same as, similar ideas, Day Trade Dash. And then I have my Momo scanner, again, similar to Day Trade Dash. And then I have a scanner that I've just kind of fallen in love with, which is like my Sniper Alert scanner. And these, if you need a setup kind of like this, it won't look like this because there's some of these pieces that a buddy built that doesn't want me to share, and that's totally fine. But I have another setup that I use quite a bit that's very similar to Day Trade Dash. Another guy created that I use. I can send that to you. It's absolutely wonderful. And I don't make any affiliate money off that or anything like that. I'm just hoping to share that with the community if you need it. But this is the scanner that I use today and I use every day. I have been thinking about going back to Day Trade Dash. The thought has crossed my mind to give it a try again. I can't quite tell you why, but I feel like this weekend is going to be a weekend of reflection for me. And I think that when I go back and take a look, I'm going to see that I was winning a lot more when I was using the Day Trade Dash scanner. And I love my setup I have right now. So, and it's not the scanner, it's not the broker that caused me to take big losses this month. My losses have come from getting greedy, not taking profits, and not getting out right away. No scanner is going to, and no broker is going to protect me from not getting out when I should, not walking away when I should, and not taking profits. So, the easy thing for me to do is like, let's change out my systems. Let's change out the fields. But I mean, come on, I got to take some responsibility here. It's not the scanner. It's not the broker. It's me. We got to work on me. Oh man, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a long weekend as I try to work through this. But okay, so let's take a look at a couple of these stocks that I wanted to trade today or that came across the scanner. First one today was CNF. And let's see what mainly work off of. Oh, this one, is this the one? Let me see. Yeah, okay. So we're going to look at the 1 minute and the 10-second because if you look at this on this 1 minute chart, when this thing popped with news, right? Yeah, with news, had news today. Camp. Yeah, had news today. When this popped up right here, I mean, I had a hard time. I wasn't going in on this because look at these wicks on the 1 minute chart. The volume was fine. I was okay with the volume. The volume was great. We got 400K candles. We got some million candles up here. The volume was great. The MACD's positive. We're over the EMAs, obviously, because it's running up. We're over the VWAP most of the time on this thing. But these wicks prevented me from taking any trades early on in the move. And I wanted to be in early in the move. I just couldn't do it. No way. I thought about taking this dip trade right here. Didn't take it. And then you can't really see it on the 1 minute chart. I have these lines marked off, but it's from the 10-second chart. So let me pull that up real quick. Over here. And this is kind of what I'm talking about when I moved a line, didn't I? Okay, good. This is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm personally talking about dip trades and like what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing this on the tape, but I like to mark it off here for you guys on the level 2. I'm sorry, on the charts. So this is the 10-second chart of that stock. And I honestly felt that there was a ton of dip opportunities. And so what I like to do is mark off these ranges. And after the stock kind of came up, came down, did this whole thing, and then came back down, and then I first started seeing it right in here. So we got this nice pullback. And for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, a good minute, we've got this range between here and here. This is what I mean. I don't know what everyone else means. This is what I mean by when I'm dip trading. So sure, it dips down here and you can take this as a dip trade. But for me, I love seeing these long windows where I have these ranges. We'll call it 377. It's not exactly that, but we'll call it 377 to like 362. So if I see this kind of bouncing around in that zone, I might take a trade down here at 360 with the chance of it coming back up until it fails me. And I've done this a couple times on this account, done very well. The other day I did this about $200 and I lost it all because I was not a great trader on one trade. Very frustrating. So, and here you can kind of see it up here really well visually. And this is when I marked this one off intentionally. Here through here, really this whole zone, there was opportunities. And so you've got, this is basically becomes a level of support. We'll call it 375-ish, becomes a level of support for quite a bit of time in here. And I almost took trades in here, but I did not want my first trade to be a dip trade. I wanted it to be an A+ setup that I'm used to trading with breaking news, candle over candle high, the magic. And there were some people in Discord, and one of my Discords I'm in, that made money in these zones off these dips. And congratulations, because there was certainly dip opportunities on this, and for quite some time. Like, you could get in when it's low. You got to get in down here low. Get in here, pumps up, you get out. You wait, comes down, you get in, you get out. Comes down, you get in, you get out. You know, like you keep going. You just do. You look for support on the level 2, which is an imbalance between the bid and the ask. So you want more volume on the bid than the ask. It's not that easy, but for the most part, once you've identified support, I wanted to trade this, but I just didn't want to make that mistake today. And then after this dip right here, you still get it. You still get it. It's not quite as high as here and here, but you still get it in here. You get a little bit in here, and then eventually you get in one until it breaks down. You can play this all day long. Eventually you get in one and it pops. And maybe you get in down here for the dip and you take your profit, and you notice the next one opens and doesn't dip, it rips. And then you get in, you get back in. So just ample opportunity on this stock. It ended up happening again over here, but after it came down right here, I was pretty much not looking at the stock anymore. But I was watching just see what it's going to do in these little zones where it's hanging on but not really tanking. You know, there's probably some dip opportunities in there too that people took. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. I really thought there was opportunity here to make money early on in this move, but really right here is where I first started seeing it, and then this whole section right here. If I'd have taken one here, there's a chance it could have gone down right there. Just depends on how things are flowing and whatnot. But yeah, there were some opportunities there. And then the next stock was what was it? It was ZDAI. I wanted this stock, man. I really did. ZDAI, and I think it'll be easier to see on the 10-second chart. But let's just see what the 1-minute chart looks like. The 1-minute chart, okay. The 1-minute chart on this looks absolutely fabulous, in my opinion. Okay, so here's the deal: the news on this is no news, right? Yeah, this was a no news stock. No news. Let me just double check. Yeah, no news on this stock. So that's one thing. I wanted some news today, but I almost took this trade because you can see right here on this 1-minute candle, start getting the alerts on the scanner in here, and then it picks up. You get this little pullback. It goes above here. You get in right there if you want, just under $2. As the volume starts to pick up, looking pretty good. The candle goes up. It pulls back right here. This candle opens. It pulls back. It shoots up over 350 and goes all the way up to 469. And then you have this double top. Now, I was looking at this because I was about to do what I did yesterday and get in extended. So this candle comes down, this one opens, and it starts to move up. And I'm like, oh, man, I might try it. And I'd marked off a couple lines over here on the daily. I marked off kind of just some areas I was looking at, and I knew the 200 was at 538. So the higher we got, the closer we got to 538, I was worried about resistance there. And so up in this zone, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to take a trade up in here because the EMA is too close. I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. It double tops, comes back down, and lucky for me, that probably prevented me from losing some money. But this is kind of an area right here that I was looking at. However, on the 10-second chart, it was auto. How do you? Oh, I think you just reset. Okay, that works. Okay, I got a better understanding. On the 10-second chart, and we'll blow this up, this is what I was seeing. Now, this one would have been good, but by then for me it was already too late. When it initially started to pop up and the volume was over 100K on the 10-second chart, I was seeing these topping wicks on the 10-second chart. And that threw me off. It drew me away. It wasn't strong to me. It didn't have news, and I didn't like these 3 wicks in a row. Pullbacks are fine. That's fine. But when I see 3 of these wicks on a 10-second chart, how do I trust that? that it's not going to just do it again, you know? I don't know, man. I didn't feel comfortable about that. And then it actually worked out well. What time is this right here? There's the 350. Yeah. I mean, this is that first minute right here where it looks on the 1 minute chart. This looks very clean, very, very clean. But leading up to where that next candle opened and broke over the top of that 1 minute candle, it was not clean. Not to me anyway. Not to me. And then it had another pullback right here. What time was this? Oh yeah, halfway through that next minute. Yeah. So if you're looking at the 10-second chart in this section, you could have definitely made some money right there. But this threw me off, and I was out. And then when I saw this come through, that's where I was like, okay, I might actually, when this pushes a little higher, I might try to get in. Then we had this double top, and I'm good. So that's why I didn't enter this trade. And then where are we? QUCY, another one that hit the scanner today. This one had news. Yeah, this had news today. This is the 1 minute chart. Yeah, 1 minute chart. Let's pull this up. And this is one I do wish I would have taken. I do wish I would have taken this one. Pops up, comes up. You get this nice little pullback right here, $1.90 to like 180. This opens, shoots up, goes over $1.90 pretty easily. Shoots all the way up to 230. And I just felt like that was a move that I should have taken. And that, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. And that was one that I felt like I kind of missed a little bit today. Where was the 200 on this? I think it was close. Yeah, 175. So, you know, that was just one of those things I was thinking about. Like in this range, we're just kind of barely over the 200. So like it was tough. It was not easy decision to go in right there. And once it clears it, sure. But in this zone, that's right around that 200, and I wasn't comfortable. What did the 10-second chart look on this? Let's reset the chart, scroll back, and take a look at the 10-second chart here and see if I can see anything that threw me off. I mean, this is definitely cleaner than the one we just looked at, right? I mean, this is kind of pumping up. You get this nice little section right here, although this wick is a little bit weird, but it opens, goes above it, you get in. I mean, this isn't bad, actually, to be honest with you. And if you timed it right on this one as it went up, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But with those, I just didn't, I don't know, for those couple reasons I talked about, I just wasn't comfortable. And then we had WHLR, which is going to be like, I think this was like an instant no for me. This one, did it have news? It did not have news. I've seen this one a million times. Is this the REIT? Yeah, this is the real estate. This is the REIT. And it hit the scanner, and this stock is pretty much on my no-fly zone, and this is kind of why. Pops up. By the way, there's no volume here. So, and I was watching that too because of yesterday. All right, YouTube folks, you know what I'm talking about. You saw the video. The volume was not great. We made a mistake yesterday. So I was watching this. I mean, there's no volume here. And that was another reason why I wasn't interested. So this thing comes up, it opens, this candle opens, goes above. You get this weird doji candle, I guess you could say, but that's pretty thick. That's a lot of indecision right there. And then it just proceeds to dump. It actually came back up here, and I wasn't thinking about taking a trade on this, but I was watching it just to see what it would do. Came right back down and ran away. That's why I didn't trade that. When that hit the scanner, I'm sure it had some attention. And then SHPH was one that I wanted because let me go to the 1 minute chart, and this one will be fine on the 1 minute chart. Where are you? Friday morning, right here. So this was a continuation trade. It had news early this morning, right? What was it? 9:20. Actually, it was 8 o'clock. Huh. Well, I saw this, and then yesterday it went up too. Yeah. So yesterday, this is a continuation. It went up yesterday after hours, and then we had this happen early this morning, which I wasn't awake for, and then it was under VWAP pretty much the entire time, but it had tried to test it a couple times, and I'm like, well, if this thing goes above VWAP, I might take a chance. And here's where it did it right here. It comes over here, goes above VWAP. VWAP here is like we'll call it 530-ish or something. Okay volume. Not the most volume in these earlier candles, but okay, I'm kind of understanding now that I'd like to see like 100,000 like volume candles on the 10-second chart, or like, you know, I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring out where I'm comfortable at. But anyway, this thing, it starts to push up. You're getting a few alerts. It opens up, goes from 490 up to 560 in one fail swoop. And there was time to trade that. I remember that on the scanner. It was like gloom, 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 gloom. There was time to trade that all the way up. Could have definitely made some money there. Pulls back. You get this first candle to make a new high after a pullback. Technically, technically you could have got in here and make a little profit here. But anyway, this candle opens up right here and crosses over. So there's a pullback right there if you want it. But anyway, this whole thing I'm seeing is like a pullback. This candle opens, goes above here. You can get in there, and then you get a nice clean one right here. Right here, right here, up there. New candle to make it high, 560. If that's what you want to play in that scenario, I don't know if I would. And, you know, there's a couple clean moves in this. There's a clean move here too. And these are all like right around the EMA, which is kind of sick, because it wasn't too extended, which made it nice. It's extended a little bit up here, but once it came back down and tucked into this EMA and this VWAP, and this one here even touched it, like it's kind of nice to be watching a stock where you could potentially get in down here and have the chance for it to go up and then extend itself after you get in. And the same thing happened here. Curled back down, come underneath the EMA, and then had an opportunity here. Boom. And I don't know what it did after that, but I did see this. The other one was actually SDOT. I didn't write it down this morning because it didn't happen until right at the end. Wow. Wow. Well, I have not been watching the stock market today. I don't trade regular hours, but the stock went up to $22.75 today. What did it start at? It started at $6. What's it up? It's up. Is that right? That is right. Wow. It started down here this morning. Had this little jump. And then this is one of those ones where I was watching for VWAP. It kind of tapped. You know, here is where I was initially looking at it right there. Well, this is insane to me. This stock has gone up this much today. So it opened at like, I don't know, whatever this is, $11-ish, went up to $22. But this morning it was down. When I first was looking at it, it was down here like $9. It's gone all the way up to $22 a share. Man, I don't know, man. One day I'll start trading RTH, but I'm just not comfortable with it right now. But anyway, the trade I was trying to make on this was here. This is going to be probably my longest video ever. Right here. I saw this and I thought about taking this trade. But at this point, there's only a couple minutes left and I just wasn't sure. So starting to get some alerts. Volume picks up a little bit right in here. This thing goes over VWAP. So $10 is the VWAP-ish here at this moment. It looks like $10. It goes up to like, $10.50, almost $10.75, pulls back a little bit, and then climbs in this zone. So I was gonna go in for this break of VWAP right here, or get in here. I think what I was thinking was this next candle. This one right here is the one I was actually thinking about getting in on. So as this came up, because a lot of times things can go over VWAP and they just fail. So it comes up, opens, plays around in this zone. This candle opens, comes down, and then starts to push up. And that's where I thought about getting in. So it's holding VWAP. It's bouncing off that 9 EMA and the VWAP. And I thought that would have been a good entry. Turns out it would have been a really good entry, but I just didn't want to risk it at that time. And it's continuation, and it wasn't my A+ setup. I really was looking for an A+ setup that I could start my day with and drop, 250 shares on. Maybe it's like maybe it's a $10, maybe it's a $5 stock, and it goes up. I don't know. Maybe I get lucky and it goes up 20 cents and I'm up $50. And then I got a little cushion that I can work with and make and go in and either wait for the next, A+ setup or wait for a break of VWAP trade or do something a little bit more creative once I have a little bit of a cushion. But without that cushion, I just didn't want to trade anything other than that A+ setup. And I do believe there was a couple today that I just didn't take because I was a little scared. But I look forward to doing all again on Monday. I have a lot to think about. I want to go back and take a look at old videos, old setups, which is kind of going against what I just said, where I'm saying, these losses have nothing to do with my setup, and they don't. They have to do with my mental state, what's going on. I have quite a few of you guys who have messaged me on Discord with some steps I can take to help me kind of get through this part of it. I'm going to really work hard on that, I promise you, over the weekend. And then we're going to come back better on Monday. I think that if I can have a couple of good weeks where even if there's small red weeks or small green weeks, and I just proved that I was getting out when I should get out, that's going to be a huge step for me, because that's the biggest barrier for me to become a great trader is, besides stock selection, is getting out quickly when a stock fails and taking profit when I see it. It's okay to take a quick profit. You can always go back in. Take your 8 cents, take your 10 cents, take your 5 cents, whatever. If you get in and it stalls and drops, it goes up to like 8 cents, comes down to like 5 and hangs there, get out. You don't take the 5 cents, run, and just get right back in. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. I love you guys. Thank you very much for your support. This was a long one, but just how my brain is working today. I hope you're agreeing this week. We'll see you on Monday.